This New York Giants team preview edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is giving away $15 million in Best Ball Mania 5. Sign up with promo code SGPN to claim your first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm has the best AI picks and projections, and their college football product is about to drop. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm.
What's up, everybody? You're watching SGPN. Fuck the Cowboys. Let's go, baby.
Cox. He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog. Giants pretty early in the process. I'm not sure I'm happy about that.
Giants early on. Shout out to the listeners said, are you starting with the teams that are booty cheeks? And yes, we are starting with the booty cheeks teams.
I didn't quite get that reference.
You don't
cheeks.
Again, you have. I mean, come on, Ryan. You have.
I don't. Are you
no
saying
one.
that?
I mean, I'm sure we're going to be joined by Terrell here in a few minutes, but I'm sure Terrell is familiar with the expression whether something is cheeks or not.
Okay. Good for him. Is it a positive or a negative?
Is what a positive or a negative?
Being cheeks. Do
bad.
I want to be cheeks? No, don't.
Oh, you might want to be cheeks.
Yeah.
I mean, the Giants are certainly cheeks. At least last year, Ryan, the Giants are coming off and now we have to go back and check this. Coming off a 6-11 season, their win total was set at 7.5. The under came in. Did I actually pick them to go over 7.5 wins last year?
Does the sheet say you did?
The sheet says I did, but I'm
Are you
skeptical.
challenging this data?
I just don't. Maybe
I'll check it. I'll check it.
Maybe I had them going.
Maybe you were playing games.
I was probably trying to put a reverse jinx on them. I'm sure you were super hyped up about them, Ryan, and I was trying.
No, you did have under, so this was a typo.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
you did have them going 7 wins.
Okay, I was off by 1 win. So if you're keeping track at home, I'm 4-0 on the win totals so far. Kramer, a very impressive 3-1.
Oh, of the teams we've spoken about.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's how we're doing it.
That's good. I like the review.
Yeah, because I think we ended up. I haven't totaled up our total scores, but again, we're off to a good start. Breaking down these teams, 32 NFL team previews. Shout out to those of you playing along at home with the phrase that pays. We are now on word number 4. Today's secret word is last. I don't know how that worked out that it was with the Giants episode. Now that would have been a great thing if I actually planned it out, Ryan, but I stumbled upon that. Of course, collect all 32 words, send in the phrase that pays, and one lucky winner will win a $500 circa NFL future. NFL only, not putting any baseball futures in for you. Kramer, let's talk Giants big picture. Like I said, went under their win total of 7.5 at 6-11. Decent ATS record, 8-1. Although some would argue fortunate to get those 6 wins. They had a Pythag of 4.5, estimated wins 4.8. To me, their turnover
swings both ways though, because they were 1-5 with Daniel Jones. They were 5-6 with other quarterbacks, which certainly, I mean, they were a couple missed kicks away. If you remember the missed extra point against the Rams that ended up costing him the game, the Tyrod blunder, the overtime. I mean, they could have very easily been a 9-win team with all of this dumpster fire occurring, with all of the metrics saying they should have been even worse, which to me speaks to coaching.
Yeah, that's certainly one way to look at it. The other is that the Giants wasted 31 turnovers forced, 3 pick sixes, stuff that's tough to replicate on a 6-win season. They had a positive 12 turnover differential. They led the NFL in turnover differential, that is going to, in my mind, regress. And I think it's going to make them tough to get a bunch of wins this season. They're bringing back Daniel Jones. You remember 2 touchdowns in 6 games?
Oh, he
6
got hurt for the season after 6 games.
Okay, but 2 touchdowns in those 6 games, minus 141 point differential. So again, the fact that they got 6 wins out of that is impressive. I think you got to look big picture here. Giants just haven't been the same post Tom Coughlin. They've only won 30.
Why are we going so back so far?
Well, I'm trying to. I'm going back to the time where they were a competitive franchise.
Oh, okay.
Since then, they've only won 36% of their games.
Okay. Number of coaches, number of irrelevant data points. I don't. Yeah, you can continue. We didn't talk about the Broncos 10 years ago. No, we didn't talk about the Panthers 10 years ago.
If you wanted,
you're just again. It's political season. You're just you have a microphone in front of you.
That's an irrelevant data point.
Last year's a relevant data point. I would
last
say.
year.
Yeah, the last 2 years are relevant data points.
Oh, okay.
This regime.
So yeah, I mean, 2 years ago, I think they were very fortunate to get into the playoffs. I think the fact that Daniel Jones won a playoff game set this franchise back. They gave him a contract that I think they were better moving on from at the time.
Yep.
And now they're stuck with him for 1 more year. They do bring in Drew Lock, who
he's looked really bad. I wouldn't play any games with Drew Lock. He's looked very bad in training camp.
Well, then I mean,
very bad.
I'm trying to pull my haterade out and put my impartial NFL analyst hat on, Ryan. I mean, Daniel Jones is who he thought he was. He's not a very good quarterback. And I think the offensive line is going to be problematic. Their offensive line unit rankings is 32nd. Yes, they do have a franchise left tackle in Andrew Thomas, but other than that, they got nothing else around him. And you lost Saquon Barkley, who, if you want to bring up the key additions, key losses, say what you will about Saquon, he was a huge part of this Giants offense. And I think he made Daniel Jones's job easier when they were successful. When Daniel Jones had success, it was with Saquon Barkley also being successful. I think losing
that last statement I disagree with.
Okay.
A lot of the other stuff you said was accurate. I think you're trying to paint Saquon to be this rosy guy now. He was a volume guy, not very efficient last year. He was as much a reason why the team was bad as Daniel Jones. The fact that they
So you think addition by subtraction with Saquon Barkley?
I don't think it matters. I don't think Saquon moved the needle for this team.
I think that's fair. I think they're going to be bad regardless.
I think they brought in a new offensive line. So yes, it was broken. The attempt to fix it is new offensive line coach, number of new bodies on the offensive line.
Massive turnover.
Evan Neal no longer relied on as the right tackle. These are all promising things. Now, the concerning thing as a Giants fan is it took another injury to Evan Neal for the coaching staff to get there. But again, it was training. You can't really take anything seriously until training camp. They've remediated the situation. And again, I'll point back to the regression goes both ways last year because they were also, again, in a very disastrous season, very close to winning 9 games, which is absurd. And yeah, they absolutely are due to regress backwards in some of the categories you said, but they still were doing this with Tyrod Taylor and Tommy DeVito. So,
but I guess I would say, I don't know if what they're doing currently with quarterback play would be better.
Well, hopefully they're bringing Daniel Jones back to his rookie year when he didn't have the fear of Jason Garrett and all the shit that broke him. Because really what his issue is, he doesn't take the deep shots. You have now a team with explosive receivers in theory. Malik Nabers joins the squad. Jalen Hyatt is fast. Darius Slayton is fast. You have to take the deep shots. And so everything I'm reading is that instead of the offense being tailored around Daniel Jones, the offense is the offense now. And the offense for Brian Dabol, who by the way is calling the plays this year, is about stretching the field, is about taking those shots. So we will very quickly find out if Daniel Jones is willing to stop being a pussy, take the shot down the field, and let this offense open up. Because if it does, that's the answer to the question. They didn't have Malik Nabers before. They didn't have someone that can open up an offense. And honestly, they haven't had a receiving core that could even be discussed as a below average squad in a long time, let alone something that could be an advantage for them.
Darren Waller, key loss.
No,
he was a big franchise changing tight end that you brought.
You joke, but he was leading the league in 20-yard catches for tight ends last year when he went out for the season, and he did so. I mean, I only had to wear a fucking mustache for 30 days, Sean, in that dumpster fire of a season.
Okay.
So
Xavier McKinney, I am worried a little bit about this Giants secondary. Where are you at with, starting a guy like Deonte Banks?
I think you see the change in defensive scheme lead to. I hearing people that aren't New York Giants, don't cover the New York Giants, talking about the intrigue of what this defense could look like. We saw Shane Bowen down in Tennessee. Sean, we always fancied their willingness to attack the quarterback, and so I think the answer to your secondary question is, yeah, it's scary. Banks has to take a step forward. Certainly excited for the rookie Newman once he gets on the field. Andrew Phillips having a very nice camp, but it's going to be about the front seven. You have Burns, Kayvon, Dexter Lawrence. You have some nice linebacker pieces centered with Bobby Okereke. It's going to have to be about that front seven, which is what Shane Bowen's offense is about, or defense is about. I also think he runs a lot of kind of, the newfangled hybrid, maybe some 3 safety stuff that's just going to look a little bit different. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be a step forward than the wing. The wing defense wasn't working. That's the bottom line. You can say it was fun to watch a team that was going and getting after, but it wasn't working. And so, yeah, good to see the change. I like the scheme that's coming in, and I think I'm not the only one that likes the idea of Bowen and what his defense could bring. And so, yeah, the defense, I have strong confidence will look better than they did last year. They brought in Brian Burns, a top of the, even if you don't believe he is the top edge rusher, he's going to give them a much different presence than they've had before.
Yeah, I think their defensive line is the strength of the team. But I do worry about the back end. I think if you're facing a team who can pass protect, and
back ends are created from their front end. I mean, that's usually how it works in the modern NFL. There's not too many teams where the secondary carries the pass rush, and that's just the way it works now. The pass rush is how how your secondary does well. That's how the kid out of Dallas had so many pick sixes last year. It's the pressure up front. So I think in general you have to start up front, and they've done that. And so, yeah, is it hopeful to have a first round cornerback that looked all right at times last year take a step forward to being a number one? Yeah. Do we need a rookie probably to contribute on the back end at safety? Sure, but Newman's a 4-year starter at Minnesota, someone who learned with Winfield, a safety who knows what the fuck he's doing, and that system in general has produced a lot of good NFL safeties. And so I feel okay projecting that. I think it comes all the way back around to, as we look forward.
Yeah, I think the pass rush. Shout out to the chat; they are lit. Easy pointing out, having to deal with our defense last year. Kramer, his Lions, the pass rush only helps garbage secondary so much. So I do think you guys will be exploited somewhat in the passing game. But I think really the biggest issue is quarterback play. I don't think you have even average quarterback play on this roster. I think Daniel Jones coming back from an ACL injury
looks good, by the way,
and a neck injury, I think is going to be really problematic, especially for a guy that had issues with confidence, with pressure when he was healthy. Now coming back from injury, I think it's just a lot to ask for this team.
Yeah, I think the confidence came from the coaching, and I think the hope is that, listen, this is, everyone knows this is your last shot, and you have to be the player you started your career as. You have to be willing to take the shots down the field. It's the only way the offense works, and if you do, then there's at least a shot of evaluation. There's at least a shot of competitiveness. And again, back to the dumpster fire last year. It was also a dumpster fire, and they almost won 9 games, Sean. I think in a lot of other scenarios, again, you found your way around the quarterback being a problem for other teams. And so,
what do you mean? Which teams?
The other 2 teams we've talked about.
What do you mean? I was super low on
the Broncos,
the Patriots, and the.
You were completely willing to take a leap forward there.
Oh yeah, it's a completely different scenario. One, I think Sean Payton's a proven head coach, where I don't think Brian Dabol is. 2, I think their offensive line is in a much better situation. Okay. I like what they're doing in the run game. I don't think I'm just saying. I don't think they have a Cortland Sutton on their roster.
What? Are you out of your fucking mind?
So you're gonna say
Malik Nabers is like a generational wide receiver talent? Are you kidding me? Maybe that is the craziest.
He hasn't played a snap in the NFL yet.
Oh my god,
Cortland Sutton's all right.
Let's bring Terrell on. We can't have a legitimate conversation. You're a legit Cortland Sutton is on the same level as Malik Nabers.
We haven't seen Malik Nabers yet. I think he has a lot to prove.
Clip it.
Of course, underdogfantasy.com. You can head over there. There are a lot of ways to fade or support the New York Giants with the underdog pick'em. We're going to give out our favorite season-long plays. Stay tuned for that. And of course, Best Ball Mania. Best Ball Mania has you covered for up to $15 million in prizes. Underdog Fantasy, the pick'em. You can go for the 11-0, the heater of all heaters. Win 1,000 times your entry. They got it all over at underdogfantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. And of course, we are also brought to you by Odds Jam. If you're listening to this podcast, you're probably getting down early and often over at some sports books. Why not make sure you have the best price? Odds Jam ensures you do. Getting data points across all the sports books in US and Canada, including offshore stuff like BetOnline, Bovada, not just DraftKings and FanDuel. They give you all the prices to ensure you are getting the best price anytime you get down. And arbitrage betting. Bet both sides of a bet. You've seen these pricing differences. Oh, you can bet over on this win total, but then bet it here lower, lock up a nice middle, and you're good to go. You can guarantee a profit, and they have new fantasy tools. So if you're just someone who plays underdog fantasy, the pick'ems, they got you covered there with some of their best plus EV plays. If you're interested in trying out Odds Jam, I really think you're going to like it. You're crazy not to. 7-day free trial using the link in our episode, or just use the promo code SGPN. Get 35% off the first month of your subscription. oddsjam.com, promo code SGPN. Ryan, underdog fantasy does have Malik Nabers at 900.5 receiving yards. His pick'em. Cortland Sutton 800.5. So 100-yard difference. I'll happily run.
You don't want to make the bet Cortland Sutton versus Malik.
Cortland Sutton plus 100 yards.
Fantasy points. Oh, now you want to put a spread.
Well,
now you want to throw a spread in there.
I'll do fantasy points.
Oh my
full
God.
point PPR.
And Malik Nabers is gonna have 150 targets. You're out of your fucking mind.
Joining us on the line, you know him from the NBA Gambling Podcast, WNBA Gambling Podcast, ton of shows on the SGPN network. Mr. Terrell Furman, what's happening, Terrell?
Oh, nothing. Just in mourning. This could be a good time of year. This could be a horrible time of year. And both of you might not like it, but I think both of you made some very good points on this season. And here I am just sitting here as a humble bystander, just watching everything. And I would just like everybody to know, first of all, the media for one. It's either they are very anti-Giants or Daniel Jones is a horrible quarterback. Like horrible. Because I lie to you not. Anytime I scroll on Twitter and I go to anybody who's like actually posts good Giants clips, there's like 10 bad Daniel Jones clips. There's a couple of sprinkles of Drew Lock looking good, but oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would say that if any of the people that track the completions and incompletions will tell you that Dan Jones has had a fine camp. Drew Lock's had a horrible camp. And it does seem like they're pushing the ball down the field more. And so, yeah, that's a positive. I don't know. I didn't know. Like, I'm not too worried if he goes 4 of 7 on deep balls in day 3 of camp. I'm more impressed that there's 7 deep balls.
Yeah, to me, we know what we got with Daniel Jones, and that's not a franchise quarterback. Like, there's enough of a sample size. I've made that call,
but that's not. We're not talking about a franchise. We're talking about 6.5 wins.
Oh, okay. I thought
we were talking about bets. I thought we were a gambling show, Sean.
Oh, we are.
You want to get on the fucking couch out there?
Daniel Jones is not going to get. And the New York Giants are not going to get 6.5 wins.
I'm going to tell you right now, if Daniel Jones plays the entire season, every single game, we're not getting there. I'll just go ahead and say it. We're not going to. If he plays every, the only hope we have is Drew Lock. That is literally the only hope we have right now.
So you're on the
I like this
Drew Lock. Kramer also claimed he was going to order a Drew Lock jersey. He has not done that.
All right, everyone knows that in training camp you're not wearing pads, you can't get tackled. You're not allowed to scramble. You're not allowed to extend plays. Drew Lock doing a lot of that. So also making some very inaccurate throws. I like the idea of Drew Lock more than his actual football play.
Yeah. I think Drew Lock is
Tommy Cutlets.
Yeah, I mean, there were positives out of Tommy DeVito. We'll see with Drew Lock. I mean, Seattle was very willing to get rid of him.
There was no positives out of Tommy DeVito. There were literally no positives.
He beat Jordan Love.
It did. He did beat Jordan Love. We got the Sopranos sound drop. We got Kramer to buy a legalized marinara T-shirt, which is awesome.
It's missing right now. I gotta find. It's coming to Vegas.
It was a great way to celebrate Italian heritage. But
I'll say this: of the 3 quarterbacks on the roster, only one beat the Eagles last year.
It's true.
Okay.
Drew Lock.
Good point.
That's. I mean, I have nothing to add to that. Drew Lock still is terrible.
That was a tough loss. Drew Lock does have the formula on how to beat the Eagles. I like our chances this year in a revenge game. If Drew Lock is out there. Terrell, what are you optimistic about? What's the best case scenario for this Giants team?
That they lead the league in sacks. I think that's the best case scenario, that they go and lead the league in sacks. I am all the way bought in on this pass rush, and I think the pass rush is going to be like very, very underrated and very, very, very good. And the secondary is just going to be the thing that kind of pulls the defense back. But I think we really do have some stars. I think Dexter Lawrence is an all-pro. I think Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau, with both of them playing with each other and Dexter Lawrence, I think one of those two could be an all-pro type player. I think it's hard to have 3, but I think that one of those two could have a really, really big season coming up. I think the pass rush and the fact that they have depth, when you talk about Azeez Ojulari on the bench coming up, and he only plays 3 games, but he gives us 3 solid games when he does play. So I think that him coming up behind them and then adding what we have and strengthening that linebacking core, I think that the pass rush is actually going to be really, really solid and catch teams off guard in the first year of a Shane Bowen's defense here in New York. So I think the pass rush is by far the best thing on this team.
It's true. I will say I was pleasantly surprised to hear like a lot of different types of people, like smart people, film people, all kind of be like positively intrigued by what Shane Bowen does on defense. And so that does have me excited. Although, you know, you look at the performance last year of that Titans squad and it's like, all right, well, maybe this will be an upgraded front 7. But I think the one area where the Giants might surprise some people is in the linebacking core. Bobby Okereke really came on last year as like a stud. And they got this undrafted free agent, Deontay Johnson, who apparently went from like never playing with even the backups last year. Offseason minicamp popped in. Now he's running with the ones. That's always a fun story. But yeah, I think the front 7 of this team could be good, like Terrell's saying. I think the back end is better than people are giving it credit for. I mean,
and the best. My fault.
I was just gonna say they have now. Like what everyone agrees was a top safety in the class this year. Newbin coming in ready to go because he's old. And like Banks was a good player last year for a rookie. He was a 1st round pick. He has the twitchy traits. It's reasonable to expect him to take a step forward on a team that generally does coach their defensive backs up. That's another thing that I think they're not getting credit for. Look at over the last couple of years, street free agents coming in and filling serviceable roles. So I think the chance that the secondary is more like middle of the road and the front end is elite, dragging this defense up into an above average, maybe even top 10 upside range, like that to me, like Terrell's saying, is part of the optimistic version of the Giants.
I think the pessimistic is without those turnovers helping to carry the defense, it's not going to be as easy to be put in decent situations.
It's fair to say that, but a lot of the bang turnovers happened in a cluster of games, and so yeah, it definitely helped them. But I would say it wasn't the story of that defense last year, and it's a completely different scheme that is going to be creating more bad throws. And so yeah, optimistically, I think even pessimistically, this defense is going to be solid.
Yeah, and I think
schedule.
They have a good situation in terms of the offense is going to keep the defense on the field. Like when we talk about, most sack props, interception props, all that, you need opportunity. And I'm telling you, they're going to have so much opportunity to stat pad on this defense. Like you're going to look back at this defense and you're going to say, wow, this defense put up a bunch of numbers, but it doesn't look the same. And it's because the offense just constantly gave them opportunity, and this defense is going to be good. Like I really think they're going to be good despite the secondary.
Yeah, does DraftKings have like 3-and-out props for the season? Because I would smash the over on the Giants. I'm with Terrell. The offense isn't going to be out there that long. A lot of 3-and-outs, and the defense is going to be out there. Win total set at 6.5. Make playoffs only plus 370. Miss playoffs minus 590. 14-1 to win the division. 65-1 to win the conference. 150-1 to win the Super Bowl. Kramer, the slot has been very generous to you over at Circa Las Vegas. What is your craziest Giants bet you got in so far?
All right, I have a stack of papers over here. Now, what I was gonna say is Terrell, when
former Giants fan,
when Malik Nabers wins Offensive Player of the Year. Terrell, when Malik Nabers wins Offensive Player of the Year, you're gonna have to ask nicely to sip from the champagne. Because it's 275-1 out at the Circa.
Has a rookie's never won?
Already got down on that. I don't want to hear anything from you. His Rookie of the Year price. This is actually shocking. When we first spoke about this, Sean, on VSiN, I believe it was 16-1.
Yep.
It's dropped to 1350, which I have a ticket right in front of me. That to me is a little sillier because you look at how the offense. There's quarterbacks involved, obviously, but you have a couple receivers who are going to see 150 targets this year. Good, bad, or like whatever you think about the Giants offense, I can promise you based on what I'm reading about training camp, they are going to feed Malik Nabers the fucking ball. He's going to get reverses. He's going to get gimmick plays. He's going to touch the ball a lot. So his Rookie of the Year price out of whack at 1350. You might be able to find a 15-1 out there. So that I'll start there.
If he starts at quarterback, I like his chances.
The quarterback class this year is pretty trash. I'm starting to think it's not very good. I'll start there. Those are my craziest. Actually, probably not the craziest.
What's the craziest?
I have another Malik Nabers one. Lead the league in receiving yards. That's 93-1. Which
only 93-1.
That's 100. That's 100-1 on. Again, my recommendation is play the Offensive Player of the Year. If you want the optimal ceiling,
that is not my recommendation.
I'm giving optimal ceiling outcomes.
So because if he leads the league in receiving yards, he's winning Offensive Player of the Year. Like
he's winning all three. All right. Let's just close our eyes and envision a world where Malik Nabers hits his ceiling, which is best receiver in the history of the NFL.
This is great. Oh my gosh.
This
what?
This about 25.
What? That means we're in the playoffs.
Yep.
Wait.
Possibly.
We have a chance. Possibly. We have a chance to do it. Kramer, this is a great scenario to envision.
I'm just saying that's one of them. That is one. If you want to play the Malik Nabers ceiling with me and win 25 grand, that's how to do it.
All right, let's get to the schedule. Let's get realistic.
Sean's bored with football.
No,
what do you got? Some Olympics you're sweating?
What? No, I did sweat out. Congrats to.
But seriously,
Canada.
Sean.
Yes.
Who else is getting the ball?
No, I think the fantasy case for Malik Nabers is high. I think he could get a ton of volume. I'm with you there. Full point PPR. He does make sense, but to Kramer's.
Sorry, the chat's making me laugh.
You have no rookie is going to win Offensive Player of the Year unless you're a quarterback.
If he scores 20 touchdowns and has 1,800 yards.
Okay. All right. Yes, I guess in that scenario.
We're speaking hypotheticals.
But to Terrell's point, I wouldn't take him to lead the league in receiving yards because if he does do that, he will win Offensive Player of the Year.
So my unit ratio is adequate. Again, 25 grand. Yes.
It's not crazy. I would definitely. So I have it and I played it a different way, a much safer way. And I played him to lead the rookies in receiving yards. He only has to beat out Marvin Harrison at plus 175. Is 5-1 right now. And here's the thing. Not only is it the targets, but it's the volume, the kind of targets he's going to get, because I just don't understand how year after year after year, Daniel Jones, they can talk him up in the preseason about how good his arm is. I have friends, literally my line brothers that I crossed in my fraternity with, played games with Daniel Jones, and they were like, "Wow, he has an arm. Like he can throw the ball deep," and never does it. Never does it. If
Until
Daniel
this
Jones
year.
remembers that he can throw the ball 30 yards downfield, then he's going to be. He's going to be a great quarterback.
And then Gettleman whacked Shermer. So, and Easy's pointing out they do have other receivers. Yeah, that's what makes this reasonable. The game plan is going to involve 10 targets a game to Malik Nabers. I'm telling you, this is what's going to happen. I know
you should play Daniel Jones' longest completion every game. I really do think that he's going to have one big play every day, and then everything else is going to be ugly.
Can you play longest throw and not completion?
Oh wow!
Well, they might not catch it, right?
I cannot wait for that.
Longest attempt
I cannot
market?
wait for that season long. All the injury karma you're building up this year.
No, I don't think
between Christian McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey's the only one I predicted injury, and that was the math that predicted injury.
Bad.
Again, you predicted injury again.
I feel bad.
I nailed it the last time.
I feel bad for all these young Eagles fans that are going to have a season littered with injury because Sean can't help.
It is really bad, Juju. Sean.
I don't think that. When did I predict injury on this podcast?
You're throwing around a lot of floor cases that involve injuries. I understand injuries are part of those outcomes.
No, I think Daniel Jones and the Giants' floor case is him being on the field for 17 games.
All right, let's go through the schedule.
Let's do it.
Although Terrell mentioned some positions I'm not yet invested on that I think I might have to add later.
Favored 2 times coming into the season.
Yeah, which let's talk about that because there is a little disrespect happening right off.
That's actually kind of insane.
But all right, they open the season at home against the Vikings, who will be starting Sam Darnold. Horrible memories in that building. I can't imagine that will go well. Then they have another rookie on the road, Commanders. Guess what they don't do? Lose to the fucking Commanders. Even last year, it doesn't matter who the quarterback was. Commanders going down at Browns, and then Cowboys on Thursday night. Fun fact: they play both their games against the Cowboys on Thursday nights in prime time. I don't need that. I'm going to be nowhere near. Shout out to Cam from the Golf Gambling Podcast. Nowhere near Cam and his wife for this game.
You don't think that's on purpose? Like they constantly put us against the Cowboys on primetime, knowing we're having we're having a bad season. But whenever we're projected to have a great season, we never play the Cowboys on primetime. It's never a big money game.
It's the network wet dream is Cowboys Giants for some reason. They always find a way. Like every year, one of the games is in primetime. But I mean, being very, very, very objective here, Sean. They open against either 2 rookies or Sam Darnold and a rookie.
I got him going 2-2 here. Ryan's going to be drinking the Kool-Aid, early starts. It's going to be electric.
So you got Deshaun Watson getting a win here?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I think
you're going to lay 6.5 with Deshaun Watson in this spot.
I hate backing Deshaun Watson, but that defensive line for Cleveland is going to.
Did you just pick a Cowboys win too?
I'm not touching Deshaun Watson.
No, I'm saying I think.
Oh, I mean, I'm boxing you in.
No. Well, here's how I get out of the box. That's why we only predict blocks, Ryan. I think they're going to lose to the Browns, and then they will either lose to the Vikings, Commanders, or Cowboys. One of those other 3, they're not going to win all 3 of those.
Sean, when's the last time you watched the Commanders beat the Giants?
Again, they own the Commanders, and maybe that's their one win, and then they lose the other 2.
I actually remember it. I actually do. It was Taylor Heineke. Taylor Heineke driving the ball for a late game field goal to beat us. That was the last time that. And was it Daniel Jones? It might have been Daniel Jones starting, but it was definitely Taylor Heineke. That pissed me off. We don't lose to the Commanders. Unfortunately, I would love to say 1-3 here, but there's a Cowboys game in there, so 2-2. But I truly do believe that we're going to lose to the Vikings. Like I truly believe we're going to lose to the Vikings. Like
the Giants are bad at home. That's
Brian Dabol is.
We're horrible at home, and we're horrible at home in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, they haven't lost. You can't go lower than 2-2 here.
Oh, you can. I mean, them being 1-3 is not.
You
crazy.
Can't. They're going to beat the Commanders, and they're going to beat the Vikings. 2-2.
There's no shot we beat the Browns.
If it's a defensive, Deshaun Watson bad.
He is bad
at Seattle. Bengals at home, Eagles at home, at Steelers.
0-4. This is where Ryan starts. I'll make a I'll make this prediction. After the Steelers game is where Ryan starts watching Shedeur Sanders highlights, Travis Hunter highlights, talking to him. Well, because I think you guys will be drafting in the top 5.
Shedeur Sanders ain't going to be in the top 5.
Well, not according to the odds. We'll see.
I hear Dak Prescott's going to be coming to New York next year.
Oh, that would getting Dak right at the tail end of his career, like when the Redskins got McNabb. That would be
amend
beautiful.
my first 4 to 3-1, please.
Okay. So you got him 3-1. What about this next 4 batch, Ryan?
I'll let you go first. You said 0-4.
0-4. Yeah.
Terrell, what are you doing?
This is a tough stretch for them.
If Drew Lock was playing against Seahawks, I think we win.
They should just put him in for that game.
They should put him in for that game and the Eagles game. That's 2 wins already. If you told me Drew Lock is starting those 2 games, that's 2 wins, 100%.
So
Bengals no. Steelers are favored. That's the thing. Steelers are favored in that game. That's not the spot where you want to take the Steelers. So I really want to say 1-3. I really, really do. But the Steelers game is very concerning. You just don't want to. You like Tomlin as a dog, not as a favorite. So I'm gonna say 2-2.
That's true. Oh wow.
Kramer, the bar is set.
1-3.
What?
1-3.
What?
1-3.
Even with Malik Nabers in that.
Wait, what's the one win?
Seattle. I mean, the way I would handicap this is they're going against the rookie head coach, rookie offensive coordinator, and then Bengals, another new offensive coordinator in Cincinnati. Who knows what that? No, I 1-3. Seattle, they win, and then it's a cooler, a little. We have to circulate the get ready for the playoff run here. So
playoff run.
We're through 8 games. I have them 4-4.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Yep.
All right. Week 9, Commanders at home, easy win. Panthers in Germany, easy win. Bye week, Bucks at home, another win. At Cowboys on Thanksgiving.
Ryan, you will not be watching that game, correct?
As of right now, hopefully I'm off the grid, far away from technology.
I'm going. I think they win either the Panthers or Commanders. I don't see this team winning back-to-back games. Give me 1-3.
I'm saying 2-2 again. I mean, I think
2-2.
I'm doing my same thing that I do every year with the division. We split every game except the Commanders. We sweep the Commanders, but we split every game. And at some point, the Giants got to beat the Eagles and the Cowboys in the same season. Like, it's got to happen at some point. So 2-2, 1-1 against Eagles and Cowboys, 2-0 against Commanders. That puts me at 2-2 here.
Kramer, the homer of the bright shining 3-1. So right now
they lose 3 in a row and then they win 3 in a row.
7-5 into the home stretch.
Yeah.
Last 5 games.
It's a tough last 5 games. You have the Saints at home, outside, maybe some weather. The Ravens at home, which that's going to be a tricky one. But it is the fall, and Lamar does tend to get sick. So maybe
he already got all his illness out of the way.
He'll,
training camp
at Atlanta, which I really don't know what. Maybe Michael Penix will be in by then.
Yeah,
Colts at home,
making the Giants wish they drafted him instead.
At Eagles,
revenge game for Penix. At Eagles, Colts at home. I think you guys could get 1 win here. I mean, again, you guys struggle in your own home. Home games are not the Giants' friends, and I think maybe the Saints, maybe the Colts, you win one of those. Everything else you're going to lose.
Yeah, this is at least 2-3, but the Eagles game like we saw last year is winnable. It's a gettable game.
So what do you officially clock?
I'll go
3-2.
3-2.
3-2.
Right. What did I finish with?
10-7.
I was conservative there. So a conservative 10-7.
Okay.
And what's their win total?
It's 6.5.
No, that's not right. And
Terrell,
what's the juice on the over? Plus 125.
Wow, they're giving you money to bet on the Giants. Terrell, you have them 6-6, so probably going to go over unless you have them losing all 5 of their last games.
No, I think that the Saints, between the Saints, they can win that game. I actually don't think they can win the Colts game. I think the Colts offense is just going to be able, like, I don't. I think the best way you beat a pass rush is by running the ball. I think the Colts are going to be able to run the ball really, really well on us. So I don't know if they win the Colts game. Ravens is the same mindset there. The Falcons game is honestly 50-50. I don't know what the Falcons are going to look like by that point in the season. And then the Eagles, we went 1-1. So I'm going to say 2-3 in the stretch. I think that puts me at 8-9. But I just want people to know it says 8-9, but I'm very frustrated at this 8-9. Like, there's no reason we should be as bad as we are. And 8-9 is actually really, really bad in my at least for me.
Over here,
8-9 is bad because it's like, hey, let's run it back. We were close to the playoffs.
No,
more Daniel Jones. If Daniel Jones goes 8-9 this season, how do they get rid of him?
He won't be back.
Oh no, but Drew Lock was playing in a bunch of those games.
Oh, okay.
Drew Lock definitely is taking over.
I think what they learned from the first time, and I don't think there's any version where Daniel Jones is back.
Really,
short of him being like leading them to the to a deep playoff, right?
Well, but you have him going 10-7, which means they would probably make the playoffs, which means Daniel Jones probably back, right?
No,
what am I missing?
No, because everyone's on the same page. It is what it is. Like, unless he could like categorically changes as a player.
But if he leads them to a 10-7 season, it's tough to get a guy out of the building that took your team to the playoffs.
I disagree.
Really?
That happened already. They made that mistake. Like,
what do you mean?
They're uniquely equipped for this.
What mistake did they make?
When Daniel Jones took them to the playoffs ahead of schedule, and they made the wrong chess move.
Oh, okay. I thought that was the right move. Sorry.
No, we agreed on that point earlier. I know you're getting to you're all your typical.
No, I'm saying
points are getting.
I'm saying when you get a team to the playoffs, it's very hard to get rid of that quarterback the next year.
And I know you're not super plugged in with the Giants, and I'm telling you, this is his last year. Daniel
Regardless
Jones knows
of
this.
outcomes.
The team, everyone knows this.
Okay,
everyone knows this. This is the way that everyone is proceeding into this season.
Terrell.
Did Mitchell Trubisky leave the Bears that year after he got them to the playoffs?
I think Baker might be a good example of someone that didn't. They got rid of him because they brought in Deshaun Watson after Baker won a playoff game, which again hasn't been a great decision for them. Terrell, if you had to bet right now, who is the Week 1 starter for the Giants in 2025?
Oh, if I had to bet, probably Dylan Gabriel. Unfortunately.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's probably Dylan Gabriel.
Kramer, who are you betting as Giants insider on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network? Who is the Giants starting quarterback Week 1, 2025? Kyron Jones? Is that the dream scenario?
I was going to say I think there's a very good chance that they will be spending a high draft pick on a quarterback and signing a quarterback. So stay tuned, I guess.
Stay tuned. Hey, Kramer has a whole pile of tickets from the Circa. You know we love hanging out at the Circa, love betting at the Circa, and of course, every year entering Circa Survivor, Circa Millions, $16 million in guaranteed prizes, no rake, which means 100% payback to the players. Enter in Nevada, and you can play from anywhere, but you should sign up in Las Vegas at the Circa Sportsbook and do it on contest weekend. Kramer and I will be out there. Bunch of open bar events for anyone signing up for the contest. Just hang out, crack some cold ones. We'll be betting on some preseason football, getting all our NFL futures in over at the Circa. It's really an awesome place to hang out, to stay. Contest weekend, always a great party. If you're planning on coming out for the contest weekend, promo code SGP 15 get you 15% off your hotel stay. And if you are signing up for the contest, use our proxy, Vegas Maddie. You can get all the info there, footballcontestproxy.com. Use a promo code SGP, get you $50 off your proxy fees. But again, come out, hang out, circusports.com. And of course, Rhythm. If you're listening to this, you're probably getting your NFL picks ready. Their football models are just about to drop. You can create your own custom models. What stats matter to you? What stats don't? They've been killing it with golf. And again, you don't have to build your model. You can, or if you just want to use Rhythm's picks, props, and projections, you can do that as well. And they've been killing it. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. All right, best bets for the New York Football Giants. Do I want to get I don't have a ton. I got I got under 6.5 wins. That is a very strong play for me. Missed playoffs. You're laying too much juice. I do think they will be in the mix. Like Kramer said, spending a high pick on a quarterback next year. I think fewest wins at 10-1 is a good price. I'm in on that market. I was going to say last team winless, but the fact that they do play the Commanders early and that Vikings game, I don't know. I think those are two toss-up games, but I do think they're not going to have a ton of wins this year. And my underdog play, love it. Daniel Jones lower 16.5 passing yards. I'm predicting Daniel Jones to throw 14 passing touchdowns this season in 17 fully healthy games. He has never listen to the last years of touchdowns, 2, 15, 10, 11. So even in 2023, where everything broke right for the Giants, they got into the playoffs. His quarterback play, arguably the best of his career, still only 15 passing touchdowns. I think if they are scoring touchdowns, it's
you left off the year where he had the aggressive offensive coordinator
2019
that we've been referencing,
his rookie year. Yes.
And then Jason Garrett. And that's when they chopped his dick off and taught him to not throw the ball down the field.
Okay.
I'm just playing. You should include all the data.
Okay. But
you're
the guy
the fans are going to be upset with you.
So why did Brian Dabol not tell him to throw the ball down the field in 2022?
So in 2022, they came in, they wanted to do that. It didn't work. They adjusted the offense.
Wasn't that Galladay?
Well, and honestly, I take that back. 2022, they didn't have the team for it. And so that team was very much about getting the ball out quick and running the ball. And they won some close games. The next year, they did try to push the ball down the field. And if you remember, part of the reason why the season was a fucking dumpster fire is because he wasn't taking the shots outside of that Cardinals game.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I think the hope is that he realizes that the offense is not being adjusted. This is the offense, and if he wants to be successful, he's going to have to take these shots.
So he had 2 passing touchdowns in last year in 6 games, and the thought is he's going to have way more in 6 games this year because he understands he has to throw the ball deeper.
The offense will be stressing taking the shots down the field, something he avoided doing last year. Yes.
Okay. I disagree with his ability to understand that and be successful.
Deep ball is the best thing he has. Like Terrell saying, like he mentally got away from it. And if he can mentally allow it back in his life, things might be good.
It might be, but I'm going to be on the other side, lower 16.5 passing touchdowns. That's all I got. I don't think he's
really, that's all you got.
I don't think Daniel Jones is going to lead the league in interceptions. I don't. And even, fantasy stuff, maybe Tyrone Tracy is a interesting best ball play. Malik Nabers, to your point, Kramer. Yeah, I think he could have a good fantasy year. You're also drafting him super high. But I'm sure
you're not drafting him high for guys who are going to see 150 targets.
Okay. Yeah. If he gets 150 targets, you're right. He probably is a steal at ADP, but I'm with Terrell. I don't know if the offense is going to be out there enough to warrant 150 targets. Kramer, get the laundry list out. What do you got for the Giants? Over 6.5 wins. I already have you down for.
Over that sounds good. All right. So just to recap the Malik Nabers stuff, make sure you got it all. Malik Nabers, which I really like Terrell. So we're going to grab the Malik Nabers most receiving yards for a rookie 5-1.
Okay.
/ all the players 93-1. That's the ticket.
Hold on. Let me.
It's going to take a while. We also like
that one's 93-1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Malik Nabers offensive rookie of the year plus 1350. I can't wait to have a collage of these tickets.
Okay.
Malik Nabers offensive player of the year 275-1. I mean, that is value hunting at its best right there.
275-1.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
I have a just in case Daniel Jones MVP.
Break in case of glass.
300-1.
Really?
Yeah.
Now I'll definitely book that.
Well, I already booked it, so don't worry. I got it. We also have a just in case Giants win the Super Bowl 150-1. Giants win division at 15-1. I couldn't believe I found a 15-1.
Really?
Yeah. Shout out to places that offer no's. And then I guess people are betting the no a lot. And then let's see what else. I'll take a break.
Okay.
I think that sorry, Josh. There's a lot for me.
What was your underdog play for the Giants?
All right, I'll get to that. So I did not. I think it is Malik Nabers to go higher than 900.5 receiving yards.
Okay.
Very simply, he's going to see a number of targets. Darius Slayton has sniffed this in a situation where he was not wanted for a couple of years, and so Malik Nabers, if you believe the prospect hype, I'm certainly going to take higher in his receiving yards. Terrell, what are you doing?
All right. I have some good. I have some bad in
Ooh.
terms of fandom, which is why I told you again in the beginning. I think we both made some points, and which is why I have this team literally as a middle of the road team. So unfortunately, I will sweat the over on the 6.5 wins.
Nice. See, Terrell, if you're in Vegas with us week 1 and we win, you know you're going to get excited.
Oh, I mean, I'm gonna be the most excited person in the room because I thought it was a loss. Do you remember when we saw us beat the Titans? I thought we were losing that game. I thought we were losing the game.
It was a different era. The joy you guys had. New head coach.
Terrell just kept screaming, "We don't win that game. We don't win that game."
Like there was no way we was winning that game anytime before that. No way. All right, so. I will sweat the over 6.5 wins. I have Daniel Jones here and a couple of fades, over 8.5 interceptions plus money.
Ooh, okay.
Even money for over 8.5. First of all, if he plays, because we cannot talk about injuries and it's non-linear. We don't know who's going to get injured when. It's really freak things. If he plays, he's having double-digit interceptions. Yeah, Sean knows. I'm sorry, Sean knows, but everybody else doesn't.
When you're a running back and you have 400 plus touches the season before, you will get injured.
Sean, what was his most?
Show me a time I'm wrong.
Sean, what was his most interceptions prop?
Daniel Jones. I'll look up the price.
I can tell you right here because I have it. 40 to 1.
Nice. I agree with Terrell here. He's being handicapped like a guy that's not going to take a chance, and I think he has to take the chances this year.
Ryan,
or you lose your job. Yeah. It's either take the chance and try to make a play or lose your job.
What was the number, Terrell?
40 to 1's crazy.
No. What was the prop? 8.5.
8.5. How does he not have double-digit interceptions? Like, how does he get through this entire? If he plays 17 games,
I think good. Or the only way this doesn't work is if he gets hurt. That's in my opinion. 8.5 interceptions. Yeah, that might be a mortal lock.
And if he gets hurt, we probably have a good season. So you know what? I'm perfectly fine hedging that bet with us having a good season and Daniel Jones getting hurt. So interceptions it's going to happen. Like if he has a Jameis Winston season, I wouldn't be surprised because I think the offensive line actually is a little bit better. Like so, if this is a Jameis season. Yeah, like if this is that season, I would not be surprised. Like I really do think Daniel Jones had the only thing that throws him off with us in the interception prop is the fact that he's afraid to make a mistake. Back when we had Eli, that was the thing I loved about Eli. Eli didn't care if he was going to make a mistake. I might throw an interception, but defense will get it back and we'll go again. I don't care. Daniel Jones, he's like, I'm not going to throw the ball downfield because I'm afraid to make an interception. Well, guess what? Now you're either going to be without a job if you don't try, or you're going to go down there and make a play. And most often he's probably going to make a bad play. So interceptions just seem easy.
Jameis, you're making a great case. You talked me into most interceptions and is over 8.5 interceptions. Jameis Winston 2019 had 5,100 passing yards, 33 touchdowns, 30 interceptions.
I'd like to also throw. You asked me who was the starting quarterback for the Giants Week 1 next year.
Oh, Jameis.
I would love for Jameis to be that they bring in. Please bring Jameis in. Imagine a quarterback room with Tommy DeVito, Jameis Winston. And I don't even know who.
Insert rookie quarterback.
Oh, Deshaun Watson.
Imagine Shedeur Sanders and Jameis Winston in the same
Prescott.
locker room.
You got to talk. Is Shedeur Sanders good, Terrell?
I think he can be. I really do think he can be. I just think it's a 0% chance he goes to the Giants. Like there's a zero. Like if the Giants were to draft him, it would be inverse of the Eli situation. Like there's a chance he plays a snap for the Giants. They hate the Giants. Like all the Sanders, they hate the Giants.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the match, but all right. So Terrell, we got you down for over 8.5 interceptions, over 6.5 wins. What else you like on the Giants card?
I have the Giants for the most sacks in the season, 100 to 1. That's my dog.
Oh, wow.
Jesus Christ!
That's
All
my
right,
big dog.
Right, give me that one. I did know they don't have that. We need to talk to our boy Jeff Benson at the Circa. They didn't have team sacks.
Ooh. I mean, as an impartial observer, yeah, I certainly at that price, it's intriguing. I'm not betting it, but
I feel like half the league is that price.
Yeah, because they know a couple teams are just going to dominate in sacks. All right, Terrell. So most sacks, 100-1. That's a fun long shot.
Yep, fun long shot there. What else do we have? Okay, so I have Giants over 2.5 division wins plus 150. We getting 2 free ones against the Commanders. You just got to win 1 game out of 4 between the Cowboys and the Eagles. Just 1. That's it. I just need 1 game between the Cowboys and Eagles. We have 2 against the Commanders. Locked in. It's happening.
It is odd to me how the world is not up to speed and how the Giants just own like.
That's why we have the flow charts.
There was the weird COVID year where the Commanders won, or the football team won a couple, but since they name changed the Commanders, they can't beat the Giants.
Have they?
Daniel Jones has a winning record against you. That's like you're just a bad team. Like that's actually an organizational problem, and you really just got to start from the top down and get rid of everybody. Like the fact that Daniel Jones has a winning record against you.
Again, I stress to people that they don't lose the Commanders games.
All
right, what else you got, Terrell?
That was the last one. I'm really not bullish on this team too much, but the Malik Nabers. Oh, don't forget to add the Malik Nabers most rookie passing yards, because I truly do believe
that's a great one.
Like Marvin Harrison is the one person to beat, and there's a bunch of ways that I could sit here and convince myself that the Cardinals are not going to be good at all. And the fact that it's just the target workload that he's going to get. And if they actually go to the deep ball, this is a no-brainer. Like if he actually gets a bunch of deep ball attempts and he's able to convert those, this is a clear no-brainer to me. And it actually makes me questionably want to take his over on touchdowns, but I just can't get there yet because I have to see it to believe it, to know the Giants are going to throw the ball more than 20 yards downfield.
Now, any underdog pick 'em you liked for the season long, Terrell?
So my underdog didn't have the pick 'em lines. Can you run me off a couple of those?
They're pretty in line with the props. They're offering Nabers touchdowns and yards, Wando yards, Brian Burns sacks, which I'm guessing is where you would go. Dan Jones yards and touchdowns, and Singletary touchdowns and yards. But yeah, my second
they
favorite.
Don't have Thibodeau sacks.
No, but my second favorite is I do think listening to the coaches and especially the assistant coaches talk about the goal this year. So two critical things have happened. One, they're talking a lot about how the design of the defense is going to be to free up Brian Burns, which tells me he's going to be the Joker. Secondly, if you're not familiar, the Giants have a defensive line coach named Andre Patterson. He's been credited with a lot of the Vikings players' success. They brought him over. Dabol brought him over. Pretty much is given credit for unlocking Dexter Lawrence, who has, probably top of the league hand play. Well, he's been working with the edge guys this year for the first time. And I fully expect both Kayvon and even Aziz, because Ojulari at times has looked like a dominant force. Think back to that playoff game. Yep. So Brian Burns, these guys with this added coaching, I think Brian Burns is almost a sure thing to get higher than the 8 3/4. So
yeah, I agree.
That would be the angle.
I think that, and just the fact of he already got his money. He's already gotten paid. Let's free him up and let's make him look better than the guy that we're going to have to pay in the future. And we're going to have to, like just in that aspect of, a little GM talk. And it's Joe Shane trying to keep his job. Like you heard his son on Hard Knocks. You only get one shot at this job. You might as well win. So you went out and you went and got Brian Burns. You made the trade. You do all this stuff. You got to make him look good. And so the pass rush is clearly like by far away. Like it's not even close. This is the best aspect of this team. And they understand how bad their secondary is, and they need sacks to keep themselves in games.
I also just in general, I think that again, Andre Patterson thing is huge. I fully expect the defensive line to get after it. So,
all right. New York Giants. It's a wrap. Let's take a quick recap. All the best. Too many bets to go through individually. YouTube.com/sportsgambling podcast to see the entire list. There's a ton of them. My favorite is obviously under 6.5 wins. Not to be a hater, but Terrell talked me into the interception stuff. Kramer really high on the Giants, and in particular Malik Nabers. He's got him going 10-7. I'm the hater of the group at 4-13. Terrell's got him 8-9. Likes the sacks play 100-1 long shot. Always appreciate Terrell hopping on. Make sure you follow him on X at ReallyRel _. Check out all his stuff. NBA Gambling Podcast, WNBA Gambling Podcast, hitting on the Olympics, so much more. Always appreciate it, Terrell.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green. He's Ryan.
Go Giants.
Kramer, let it ride.